minimum of 3 months. Typically, this is a 12 to 14-week recovery period.
A better chance there because there's always an injury to Joe Burrow, as Adam Schefter pointed out to start the show. That's what you're looking at.
Playoffs, conservatively speaking, you would have to get 8 more wins in order to pull that off. Jake Browning being good enough.
So what's really going on here? Are the Bengals preparing for life after Burrow? And could Shedeur Sanders be the next superstar to lead this franchise? For Cincinnati fans, it feels like they've seen this movie before, and the ending is never good. Joe Burrow came into the league as a golden boy, Heisman winner, first overall pick, the hometown savior. The Bengals went from bottom feeders to Super Bowl contenders almost overnight. But as fast as Burrow rises, his body keeps breaking down. This time, it's turf toe, a seemingly minor injury that's anything but. The projected recovery? 3 full months, possibly longer if surgery's involved. And with the regular season clock ticking, that's not a setback. It's a potential season ender. The crazy part? This isn't even rare for Burrow.
Cam Newton can be absolutely right that Baltimore is the better situation. Yet none of us can look at Shedeur Sanders and find extreme fault with his position.
From a torn ACL in his rookie year, to a calf strain that lingered longer than it should have, to hits that leave fans holding their breath every single week, Joe Burrow's career has been quietly defined by injury as much as talent. And that's the problem. You can build a team around a star, but not around a star who's always in rehab. The Bengals started this season with high hopes. After a rocky 0-2 start, they bounced back, stringing together key wins and looking playoff ready. But when Burrow went down again, so did everything they built. Momentum? Gone. Confidence? Shaken. Identity? Uncertain. And it begs the question, how many more next years can Cincinnati afford? Because at some point, promise stops being enough. And if the quarterback you've invested everything in can't stay on the field, the smartest move might just be preparing for someone who can. And that's where the whispers of Shedeur Sanders turn into something a whole lot louder.
At this point, do we know any of these names? Dak Prescott, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, Tom Brady. My point is this.
Right, they all came up for injury.
They all came off of somebody else getting injured, right? Jake Browning, it's your time, bro.
Kurt Warner.
We've seen this time and time again, and we would like to support, and we love underdog stories, and this is no different. And we see it each and every year in this particular season, or in this particular situation, we're seeing it in Cincinnati.
While Joe Burrow faces another long recovery, a new name is dominating football conversations across the country. Shedeur Sanders. If you haven't been paying attention, you're already behind. Shedeur isn't just putting up highlight reel plays in college. He's becoming a cultural phenomenon. Every Saturday, Sanders' games are must-watch television. He's calm in the pocket, lethal on the run, and carries himself with the swagger of someone who knows he's next. He's not just good, he's box office, and NFL teams are watching. The son of Hall of Famer Deion Primetime Sanders, Shedeur isn't riding a legacy, he's carving out his own. His numbers are eye-popping. His leadership commands respect, and his name is being whispered in the same breath as powerhouse NFL prospects, despite critics constantly doubting him.
So as you guys can see, the Bengals calling around to potentially add another quarterback for depth after Joe Burrow's injury update. Bengal fans are definitely calling for Shedeur Sanders. One person says, F it, Bengals should go and get Shedeur Sanders. Can we get Shedeur Sanders to the Bengals? Shedeur Sanders to the Bengals. Bengals need to trade for Shedeur.
Even seasoned pros are taking notice. Stephen A. Smith called him a natural fit for the Bengals, especially with Burrow's future becoming less stable. And Cam Newton? He took it a step further, comparing Shedeur's rise to underdog stories like Tom Brady and Dak Prescott. Two quarterbacks who stepped up after injury changed the course of an entire franchise. This isn't just hype. This is a movement. And it's not just media buzz either. Teams are circling. Executives are interested. And fans? They're all in. The Bengals are rumored to have Shedeur Sanders on their short list. And if that's true, it's one of the boldest quarterback shifts the NFL has seen in years. So the question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders is ready for the NFL. The question is, who's going to land him first? Behind closed doors, the Bengals are already working on Plan B, and Shedeur Sanders might be the key to it.
You trade Shedeur Sanders. You clearly are not sold on him right now. You're not sold on the progress that he's making, even though you're saying, hey, we're happy with where he's at.
I'm going to be livid if it goes down by
Adam Schefter on Sunday night that it could require surgery, and if it does, he could be out potentially up to 3.
According to Mirror Sports USA, the Bengals have placed Sanders on a short list of 5 quarterbacks they're monitoring seriously. That's not speculation. That's strategy. When your franchise QB has a growing injury record and your season's on the line, you don't wait. You prepare. And while Jake Browning is set to fill the void for now, let's be brutally honest. He's not the long-term answer. At best, he keeps the offense afloat. At worst, he sinks it. This isn't a dig. It's reality. The Bengals have built an offense around elite quarterback play, and with Burrow out, elite is suddenly a luxury they can't afford. Enter Sanders. He's young, explosive, and carries himself with the kind of confidence that this locker room desperately needs. More importantly, he's mobile, unlike Burrow, whose injury history stems in part from his lack of escape mobility behind a shaky offensive line. The front office knows that momentum is slipping. The AFC North is brutally competitive, and Cincinnati doesn't have time to wait around for Burrow to maybe return at 100%. If a rebuild isn't possible, a reload might be. And that's why fans are turning up the pressure. Social media has exploded with fans calling for Shedeur. From Twitter threads to Reddit debates, the consensus is loud and clear. Bring him to Cincinnati. But it's not just fan hype. NFL insiders are confirming the interest is real. The Bengals need depth, they need energy, and most of all, they need answers. And if Joe Burrow can't be the answer anymore, Sanders just might be. If the Bengals are hoping to quietly scoop up Shedeur Sanders, they're not alone, and they're definitely not early. Multiple NFL teams have reportedly entered the race, and the pace is picking up fast as Shedeur stock skyrockets. What started as a bold move by Cincinnati is now turning into a full-blown, league-wide bidding war. First, the Cleveland Browns. It's been a rough ride behind Shedeur since Deshaun Watson's inconsistencies and Flacco's early season struggles. The fan base is restless. The offense can't find its rhythm. And insiders claim the front office has begun exploring alternatives. Sanders, with his dual-threat versatility, has become a name they're watching closely. And if he moves to Cincinnati, that would be one less problem for the Browns, or a brand new nightmare. Reports from Talk Sports say the Niners are showing serious interest following Brock Purdy's concerning injury. For a franchise known for turning mid-round QBs into stars, Sanders could be the perfect puzzle piece. Smart, sharp, and surrounded by elite weapons. The NFL isn't waiting. Scouts are circling. Executives are preparing offers. From Ohio to California, Sanders has gone from a future prospect to a current priority. Which begs the question, can the Bengals move fast enough, or will someone else lock him in first? Shedeur Sanders isn't just the most talked about name in college football. He might actually be built for Cincinnati. He's calm under pressure. He's already dealt with enormous expectations under the spotlight of playing for his father, Deion Sanders. And despite being doubted at every turn, Shedeur hasn't cracked, not once. He plays with swagger, but also with precision. Pocket presence, poise, deep ball accuracy. The intangibles, the ones you can't coach, he checks those boxes too. So why does that matter for the Bengals? Because Cincinnati doesn't need a development project. They need someone who can step in and lead fast. And while replacing Joe Burrow might sound impossible, the strategy isn't to replace him. It's to keep the offense alive in his absence. And Shedeur might be the only young quarterback bold enough and prepared enough to actually do that. Cam Newton made a strong case in a recent interview. He linked Shedeur's rise to the stories of Dak Prescott, Kurt Warner, and even Tom Brady, all quarterbacks who weren't expected to start until someone went down. All of them rose to the occasion. Shedeur fits that exact mold. An underdog with chips on both shoulders, a player with something to prove, and the discipline to prove it. But his fit in Cincinnati is more than just emotional. With weapons like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon, the Bengals don't need a magician. They need someone who can make plays, avoid mistakes, and keep things rolling. Sanders' dual threat style would open up the offense in a new way, stretching defenses, keeping linebackers honest, and adding unpredictability the Bengals haven't seen in years. He's young, he's ready, and in Cincinnati, he might be legendary. As the excitement builds, not everyone's convinced that Shedeur Sanders is the answer for Cincinnati or anyone else. Damon Woody, former NFL player and current analyst, recently voiced what many inside the league are quietly thinking. This isn't Madden. You don't just swap quarterbacks mid-season and expect everything to work out. And when the quarterback you're potentially replacing is Joe Burrow, the situation gets even more complicated. Let's be real. Burrow isn't just any quarterback. He took this team to its first Super Bowl appearance in over 30 years. He's been the face of the franchise, the locker room leader, the reason Cincinnati even has a shot in the AFC most years. Swapping him out, even temporarily, isn't just a tactical move. It's a cultural shift. And while Shedeur is rising fast, he hasn't played a single snap in the NFL yet. There's risk in putting that kind of weight on such a young player. He's never faced an NFL defense, never been hit by a Micah Parsons, or disguised against a Belichick scheme. College highlights are fun, but Sundays are different. And in a division as cutthroat as the AFC North, the margin for error is razor thin. Woody warns that if the Bengals go all in on Sanders too quickly, they could fracture the locker room, lose veteran trust, and derail the leadership dynamic that's been built over the past few years. And he's got a point. Because while fan buzz is loud and front office urgency is real, the NFL is a business of results. If Sanders takes over and flops under pressure, that fallout won't just hit him, it hits the entire franchise. So the question isn't just, can Shedeur succeed? It's, can the Bengals survive the risk? If the Bengals front office had any doubts about what the public wants, they don't anymore. Cincinnati fans have spoken, and they want Shedeur Sanders. Social media? It's a wildfire. Every tweet, every comment thread, every sports forum is echoing with the same message: sign Sanders. Bengals fans are flooding timelines with jersey mock-ups, Sanders to chase fantasy highlights, and emotional takes begging ownership to make the move before another team does. And it's not just noise, it's momentum. One viral post read, "If Burrow can't stay on the field, we need someone who can. Shedeur is that guy." Another had nearly 50,000 likes, saying simply, "F it. Bengals need to go get Shedeur now." It's raw, it's passionate, and most importantly, it's loud enough to be heard in the executive suites. The modern NFL isn't built in a vacuum. Fan engagement plays a bigger role than ever before. Teams listen because clicks mean tickets, attention means sponsors, and buzz generates dollars. And right now, Sanders is the name generating it all. It's why YouTube creators, fantasy football insiders, and even ESPN segments are all orbiting the conversation. This isn't just a hot take. It's turning into a fan-fueled campaign. And the Bengals might not be able to ignore it much longer. They know that one move could reignite the fan base, sell out merch, and shift the narrative. Burrow brought hope, but Sanders, he could bring a new era. Of course, none of this guarantees a successful signing. But in today's NFL, public pressure has a way of speeding things up. And if the Bengals don't act fast, someone else will, and the fans will forget it. So here it is. Two quarterbacks, two completely different stories, colliding at the crossroads of a franchise's future. On one side, you have Joe Burrow, beloved, battle-tested, a franchise centerpiece with ice in his veins, but a body that just can't stay healthy. And with every injury, the dream he helped build in Cincinnati seems to slip further away. On the other, Shedeur Sanders, young, electric, untested, but undeniably dangerous in the best possible way. He's got the skills, the bloodline, and the swagger that could light a new spark in the Queen City. He represents the unknown. But maybe that's exact. The NFL isn't sentimental. It's not about who could have been. It's about who's ready now. And if Shedeur Sanders is as real as people say he is, then playing it safe might be the riskiest choice of all. If the Bengals make the move, they could unlock a new identity. A younger, faster, louder offense centered around a new kind of quarterback. One that challenges defenses not just with precision, but with unpredictability. A player who doesn't just take Burrow's spot, but redefines what that spot could look like moving forward. But it's a gamble. A big one. Because if they misfire, if they rush too soon, or bet on potential over progress, the fallout won't just cost them games. It could fracture the franchise from the inside out. So we ask you, is Shedeur Sanders the future of football in Cincinnati? Should the Bengals take the leap or wait for Burrow to heal once again? Would this bold move shift power in the AFC North or set the team back 5 years? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget, this isn't just a rumor anymore. It might be the start of a new chapter in NFL history. Is this the end of the Joe Burrow era in Cincinnati? What started as a promising season has taken a brutal turn. Joe Burrow, the face of the Bengals franchise, has been sidelined once again. This time, it's a turf toe injury that may require surgery and could bench him for up to 3 months. For most teams, that's devastating. But for Cincinnati, it's becoming a pattern, one that fans are getting tired of repeating. But here's where things get really interesting. Behind the scenes, a name keeps popping up. A young, explosive quarterback lighting up the college football world. His name? Shedeur Sanders. And according to new reports, he's not just being watched by the NFL. He might be headed straight for Cincinnati. Even Stephen A. Smith is stirring the pot, claiming Shedeur could be exactly what the Bengals need. With Joe Burrow's health increasingly unreliable, the team is at a crossroads. Take the gamble or go back to business.